the Overman Warrior Podcast.
Just a joke, guys! Pluck him clean! No more coverings! Not the feathers, please! Keep plucking! No more! Sorry! I'm sorry! Scandal exposed!
Hi, Rich Hoffman here. I'm not all upset about it. I think it's great. I love to see that the Rooster was arrested at the State House at the Capitol in Columbus. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's an attack on free speech where senators and politicians are throwing their political critics in jail. It's the same thing they're saying about Trump, and you saw what Democrats did to Trump between his first term and his second term. Now, I talk about putting people in jail. Everybody who is criticizing election fraud and all kinds of things, political warfare through lawfare was at an all-time high. And Republicans were not doing very well. They were playing a little bit too nice on this situation. And those days, I'm happy to say, are over. And that starts with people like the Rooster, DJ Barnes, being thrown in jail because for what they call, what the charge is, telecommunications harassment, where the Rooster, a reporter who works in the State House, he hangs out at the State House. I wouldn't say he works there. He has a political reporting blog that I just want to say a whole bunch of things regarding that. I'm not happy with him because I happen to like Senator Lang a whole lot. I like his daughter a whole lot. I like Vivek Ramaswamy a whole lot. And the Rooster, and I see him when I do things up at the Capitol. I see him walking around in his sludgy outfit. He dresses like a slob. On the way into the State House, if you park a few blocks away, especially from the south, it's not uncommon to pass homeless people who are in various states of undress. There's one I see quite a lot, and I had been walking by him, and I actually talk about this story in my book, The Politics of Heaven. It's going through the review process right now, but I have a chapter on it because it was a particular time that I went to the State House. I had a talk with the governor, and as I was coming into the State House, I saw this guy, this homeless guy, and he had his pants down around his ankles, and he had just went to the bathroom, the kind that requires a sit down on the toilet, and right there on the sidewalk, and people were walking by, trying to pretend like they didn't see him. And, he obviously was not properly dressed for a city street in Columbus, in the capital of Ohio. And I say that guy is often dressed better than the Rooster when he's parading around the State House with his hit you questions. He thinks he's doing like keeping everybody on all the politics honest. And there's a bunch of progressive radicals, Amy Acton supporters. They're not on the right side of things. And they think that the Rooster is their spokesman for justice. And there's something very interesting about the comments about the Rooster being thrown in jail. There was the hashtag Free the Rooster, as if those evil Republicans are throwing their critics in jail. If you've ever seen the Rooster work, he's arrogant. He's a slob. He's not. He does a lot of hit pieces. And actually, I've talked to Senator Lang about this, and a lot of legislator types from both the representative side and the Senate side. And there's a lot of people that I like who are currently working in the legislature. And we talk about the Rooster every now and then. And George will tell you, hey, I don't really, Rooster's politics are not my politics, but I always fight for his right to say whatever he wants to say as a free speech thing to show that they're advocates. And my comment back to them is, well, they know you're nice Republicans and that you're live and let live types, and that he can push you around, and he knows he's going to get away with it. And I would say that that's exactly what he was doing when he went too far by sending a senator a picture of Shrek's penis to him with a text message. Jerry Serino. Now, Jerry Serino is an older guy, been around for a while, and I understand. I think a lot of these young people, like the Rooster is, and the people who support the Rooster, progressive types, Amy Acton supporters, are slobs themselves. I know the group well. And their comments towards me is, well, look, you're an older guy. You don't get it. You don't get us. I know them. I raised a couple kids. They're in their 30s now. I know the GameStop culture really well. I know what went wrong. One of my attitudes about public education is that public education makes garbage. They teach kids to be garbage. I don't like it, and I'm very vocal about it. And I don't like slobs. My wife and I just went to the White House a couple weeks ago, and she said, what shoes should I wear? And my thing is, hey, if you're going to a place of public business like that, whether it's a State House or the White House or the Capitol, I wear a jacket and a tie every single time. In fact, I wear a jacket and a tie most of the time. People who have been following me for a long time know that I've done many thousands of these videos dressed like I dress every day. My schedule is just too busy to do those things during the day, so I usually do them late at night or early in the morning now. I don't put the suit and tie on for the videos like I had been doing. I usually just did the videos whenever I had a chance to do them, and I was always dressed in a suit and tie. And I do that to this day, and it drives a lot of people crazy. There are a lot of people who have accepted this progressive mantra that says casual Fridays are the way to go, and I'm not some shiny shoe guy sitting up in a front office out of touch with reality. My shoes are usually pretty dirty, but I show up to a lot of these things dressed as nice as possible. My lifestyle means I might be in some manhole somewhere, sludging through some creeks or some cobweb-lined tunnel, and I might come out with all kinds of stuff, spiders on my head. So I usually wear a hat because I don't like stuff on my head. That's why I wear a wide brim hat all the time. It's also, I like hats. I think hats are respectful, especially with men. It shows that you care a little bit, but I don't like things on my face. So, when you're walking around in the woods a lot, or you're at the elements, when it rains, I can walk in the rainstorm and not run to my car like a little wimp. You have protection to your head, and I value my brain, and so I give it protection. And so a wide brim hat gives me a little bit of that. So I wear it for all the practical reasons that people have always wore hats, and I think it's respectful to wear one. It also says, and I've done it since I was in the 4th grade, and I saw how angry wearing a cowboy hat especially, big brim cowboy hat, made people. So I got into a habit of wearing hats just to tick people off because they see it and they're like, I don't have the guts to wear a hat in public, so I'm mad at you for having that. I think it's respectful to wear a hat. I think it's respectful to wear a suit and tie. And if you go to the State House, I expect visitors to wear a suit and tie. I do not want to see you in a t-shirt. I don't want to see you walk around in some silly flip-flops or some shorts. You need to be dressed up if you're going to be in the State House, whether it's the Capitol in Washington, D.C., whether it's the White House, whether it's your State House in your state. You should dress up in a suit and tie every time you go. And I don't like the Rooster because he doesn't dress up. I think he's a slob. I think he's a slob that represents a youth movement that's progressive, rooted in socialism, and that's certainly the way he feels about Vivek Ramaswamy. And I don't like to see him making things up like he did with Alicia Lang, George Lang's daughter. I like her a lot. I've known her since she was a little girl. And yeah, you don't know everything that all adults are doing, but I've met Vivek Ramaswamy enough to know he's got better things to do than run around and have illicit affairs. I happen to like his wife quite a lot. I think she's a sweet person. And all these attempts by people like the Rooster to create some sticking point to saying Well, and the Rooster apparently just got married, but he's had a lot of trouble with marriages. He has a criminal background before he got arrested with this whole thing. And a lot of people were surprised to find out about it. And the articles I did on him were the first information they had on him. So if I was people like Senator Jerry Serino, I would not put up with the Rooster coming and putting microphones in my face, follow me into the bathroom, quizzing me on stuff when he's a known criminal. He doesn't dress properly for the State House. And anything you say to him is probably going to twist it around into some progressive hit piece. So why talk to him? And I think a lot of Republicans have gotten a habit of giving him the time of day because they want to show that they support free speech, including my friend Senator Lang. And people like the Rooster have taken advantage of those relationships, and it makes me mad to see it. I don't like to see it. I did like seeing that somebody finally stood up for themselves, and I like that Jerry Serino's like, you know what? I don't want this crap on my phone. Here's this stupid kid. I've got like 20,000 grandchildren, and here's this punk kid, this punk progressive who's voting for Amy Acton, and after advocating for Amy Acton, and anything I say to him, he's going to twist it around to some nonsense. I don't have to prove to him that I support free speech. I do it every day. The people of Ohio voted for these people to go and work in the State House, and we don't need people like the Rooster out there harassing them while they're trying to do our work. It's our house, and I don't want people that I vote for accosted. Now, all these people who support the Rooster are supporting free speech. We want to see those corrupt Republicans beat down. That's what losers say. That's what the people like the Cleveland Browns are always saying. Why do we lose every year? Why can't we make the playoffs? There's always an excuse. Oh, if only the ref had made that call in the fourth quarter. Why are you always in a position where a ref can change the game? Why are you such losers that you don't have 40 points to 0 on the scoreboard? Why are you always victims of circumstance? Democrats are always losing, and people are always putting Republicans in the State House. Why is that? Why do Republicans have majorities? Because the people of Ohio want that, and people like the Rooster don't respect it, and they're trying to undermine him with their slobbish behavior, trying to take things out of context, because he knows he's going to get away with it because everybody's too nice to him. And my statement to them when I talked to him was like, hey, why do you even give him your phone number? You know he's only going to abuse it. And sure enough, the Rooster didn't like something that Jerry Serino said, so he sent him a dick pic of Shrek and texted it to him. So finally, some senator said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I don't need this on my phone. I don't need this kid bugging me all the time and taking things out of context. And, look what he did to Alicia Lang, and he's trying to torpedo Vivek Ramaswamy. He's out there pushing for Amy Acton. I'm tired of it. And here he's sending me a dick pic. He's being very disrespectful. Look at the way he dresses. He's very disrespectful in the State House all the time. So it was great to see him get arrested at the State House. That is not a violation of free speech. The person who's been violating trust in government has been the Rooster. He does hit pieces, makes stuff up. Clearly, that was the case with Vivek Ramaswamy. He had no business going and trying to connect conspiracies to try and harm Vivek Ramaswamy by picking on an innocent person, which I would say Alicia Lang is a top-level political mover, but she's also a private person. She's not a public person. And the rights that Rooster thinks he had going after her in that way was misguided. I know his new wife is an attorney, and she's a big-time progressive, and they're big Amy Acton supporters, and they think they're smart. They think they've got it rigged, but they think Republicans are suckers. They saw how Republicans took it on the chin with the first energy deal, went to jail without properly defending themselves. The first energy trials that's going on right now that they're trying to pull John Huston in on are rackets. The story that Republicans should be saying is the energy grid of Ohio is under attack by progressive Democrats like the Rooster, like Amy Acton, all these scumbags who are out there advocating for socialism in our government and trying to erode away what voters picked in Republican majorities in the House of Representatives and in the Senate and in the governor's mansion. They pick majorities to do their work, and you have people out there trying to torpedo that effort with hit pieces like the Rooster does. You hiding behind kind Republicans who are Christians, who often turn the other cheek when they shouldn't. I know there's people who say, well, you should always turn the other cheek. No, I'm not that kind of person. You should always try and destroy your enemies. If they do something bad to you, destroy them every way possible. And I love seeing that the Rooster got put in jail. He deserved it. And everybody out there sticking up for him and saying, free the Rooster. He's not an advocate of free speech. He's a tyrant of it. He uses it as a mask of tyranny to be another brown shirt socialist trying to inflict socialism into the American political system and Ohio's economy in general. And that's why he's out there supporting losers like Amy Acton. He's a detriment, and everyone says, well, he's got a big political following. Only among people who like the show business aspect of his reporting. And that's where he goes out and hits people in the State House who dresses like a slob, puts a microphone in their face and says, gotcha! What do you think about this thing I'm going to twist around? And nothing ever good comes of it. I've had plenty of legislator types tell me, hey, you know what? I talked to the Rooster because I don't have anything to hide, so why? I'm not worried about what he might say. Look, he's out there to twist words, and he's out there to use intimidation to inflict fear among our elected representatives. And I look at him as a political hit person working in our State House, and we didn't put him there. He's there to disrupt things and to bring socialism to the political landscape. And him going to jail is part of Republicans sticking up for themselves for a change. And I don't like to see or hear that some loser like the Rooster is sending dick pics of Shrek to a senior member of the Senate. And then when people say, well, look at you, you're just a cowboy hat wearing boomer type. You're old, you're an old grandparent, you're out of touch. You know what? I don't like that young people have been taught to be so disrespectful, to dress like slobs. I don't like casual Fridays. I don't like business casual. I don't like collared golf shirts when you're doing $1 million exchanges with other members of the business community. That isn't respectful. You should show up like you care about the business. You should dress like it. And even if you're just going to lunch with some friends, you should dress with a suit and tie and wear the jacket. Don't be casual. Don't unbutton the top button so you can look like you're cool and you're hip. Don't try to look like you're in Key West, hanging out, listening to Jimmy Buffett. You need to be respectful. And the Rooster's not respectful. And finally, someone called him on it. They received telecommunications harassment, a picture of a dick pic of Shrek on their phone, and he didn't like it. So he's like, you know what? I don't need to take this from this loser. I'm gonna do something about it. And they put him in jail, had him arrested and put in jail. And that's how you fight back. That guy shouldn't even be in the State House. Our elected representatives should not be harassed under the banner of free speech by progressive radicals trying to install socialism, open Marxism into Ohio government, and harassing those who are standing against it, which the Republicans do, which is why they're targets of corruption from those kinds of people. The sloppy losers walking around with their shirts untucked and their little penny loafer shoes or slippers, their bad dress. It's people like that allow homeless people to stand outside just a block down from the Capitol, defecating on the sidewalk. Everybody walks by and nobody does anything about it because they don't want to get involved. And, being discriminatory. Oh, we don't want to be judging. We don't want to be judgmental. This guy sent dick pics of Shrek to a senior senator. Oh, he should have just taken it. Oh, the only reason he's mad is because he's out of touch. He's an older guy, he's got a lot of grandchildren, and he's out of touch. And that's the rationality for allowing someone like the Rooster to behave poorly. That's what Amy Acton's supporters are like. They're trash. They're scumbags. They don't dress well. They act terrible. They present themselves in public as detriments of social undoing. They're trying to dismantle the United States, and they aren't respectful in public places, especially in our state houses and at the White House. And yeah, when we went, my wife said, what shoes should I wear? What are you wearing? So I'm wearing this suit. I'm wearing this tie. And I'm going to dress up a little bit. I'm wearing the nice shoes. Because it's respectful. You're going to be there. Everybody's looking at you. You go to people's house, you should dress nice. So she wore the nice shoes. She complained about it the whole time because our car was a couple blocks from the White House. She had to walk back. We had to walk back to the car and change the shoes. We went and did other things. But she wore the nice shoes, wore them, and it hurt her feet going a couple blocks down to the White House, walking around the White House, because you dress nice when you go to respectable places. The White House, the Capitol, seeing your elected representatives in Washington at any capacity, a fundraiser, or the State House, your local State House. Make sure you dress nice. And the Rooster is a slob. And it's not cool or hip to be a slob. Casual Fridays are detriments of Marxism, trying to infuse that attitude into our culture, so we only work 4-day weeks and don't produce enough. It's to give the rest of the world a chance to catch up to American productivity. That's how all that started, and it's detrimental. Anybody who participates in it is a loser. You should dress up nice everywhere you go. Always wear a tie if money's involved. I don't care if you're going down to just sign an extra refi on your house and you're going down to your local banker that cashes your checks every week. Wear a tie! If you're a woman, dress appropriately. And I wear a hat everywhere because it ticks off so many people because they don't have the guts to do it themselves and they admire it. And I get myself into a lot of stuff where I don't like cobwebs and rain and other things on my head. So I wear it as a layer of protection. The wide brim keeps cobwebs out of your face when you're going into places that have a lot of cobwebs. And it's a lifestyle thing. And it works really well. And I wear a hat just about every circumstance, mainly because I think it's respectful. And I like when men used to wear hats. Fedoras were good. Cowboy hats were great. I've done it since I was in the 4th grade. I used to wear a hat to school every day, and I'm not changing anything now, that's for sure. It's respectful, and it elevates your public presentation. And that's what I think should be done by every member of society, especially in your local state house. If you're dealing with government, wear a tie and a suit jacket, at least. At least. Make yourself presentable. And the Rooster is disgusting. Has been for a long time. And as I say to anybody who interacts with the Rooster, why do you do it? And I wouldn't even paid attention to the Rooster if he didn't do the hit piece on Alicia Lang. And went after my friend George Lang specifically. I think George has been really nice to him over the years. And he didn't need to be. The hit pieces that come from that guy as a radical progressive, it's not like he's out there trying to do fair reporting. He's doing hit pieces on Republicans, trying to shake it up, and they've been nice to him because they wanted to look like free speech advocates. And just because you get slapped upside the face doesn't mean you shouldn't hit back. And I know the Christian sentiment is, oh well, I'm going to turn the other cheek. That's what people like the Rooster count on, and that's why they get away with what they've been getting away with all these years. And like I said, the Rooster has a criminal past, and very few legislators in Ohio politics knew that until I let some of them know after the Rooster did the hit piece that the Rooster has a track record of crime, including drugs, hard drugs, drug abuse himself, and he goes out and tries to be an advocate for good to hide his criminal past. And it was great that he got arrested at the State House for sending dick pics to a respected senator. That's what that guy should have done. Turn him in. Get him busted. Let him spend a night in jail. Think about it. And he's not a victim of corruption and fraudulent behavior. He's a free speech advocate, so he shouldn't have been in jail. Republicans are throwing their opponents in jail just like Trump's trying to do. No, the Democrats went after Trump first. They opened up this Pandora's box. It was Amy Acton that started all this nonsense about trying to get people busted at their health department, shut their businesses down if they didn't follow Dr. Fauci's advice. And if you had her as governor again, she would surely do it again. And people like the Rooster are paving the way for it because they love centralized authority and tyranny. And they try to harass good people in the ways that he has in the State House. And it's good that someone finally called him on it. Good on you, Senator. Good that someone finally stood up to the Rooster. I like to see more of that happen. The Rooster doesn't have an open checkbook to run around our house and harass our elected representatives who are trying to do good work on our behalf and trying to harass them through acts of terror, hiding behind the First Amendment to alter and bring Marxism into our state house when we didn't want it. We didn't vote for it. We certainly didn't vote for it. We put Republicans in charge. And if you get away from all the gerrymandering and take away all forms of election fraud, Democrats know they're never going to win. They can't win anything unless someone like the Roosters out there trying to harass Republicans and knock them out of office and get them to take the bait on blame for something like the first energy deal and go to jail so they can hang a corruption charge over the Republican Party and say, we can't trust Vivek Ramaswamy because he's rich, says the local Marxist, the Rooster. He's having affairs with somebody who travels all over the country with him. So she's a girl, he's a boy. They must be doing the horizontal, they must be doing something illicit. I was going to say something else, but I decided to keep it clean. And I know it's bogus because I know both those people. I know everybody involved. And I know they have better things to do than waste their time on that kind of garbage. That's how I know it's not true. And I've talked to them since then. And I feel very confident and I know where everybody's at and what really went on. And the Rooster he was very reckless when he did what he did. And that's going to come back and bite him in a big way. Because, hey, Vivek Ramaswamy might be a public person, but everybody else wasn't. And you don't have a right to openly go after them when they're haven't crossed that line of the political no man's land. You can't just say whatever you want about people and openly slander them when you're trying to do a political hit on who you think the target is, which in this case was Vivek Ramaswamy, because they know Amy Acton is losing. So they want to do a hit to try and make it close, and that ain't going to work. Anyway, Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you will love it. And I love seeing the Rooster get his feathers plucked. And he had to spend a night in jail. Good job. That's the way law and order should work. Rooster's a slob, and he deserves every minute that he spent in jail, and then some. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.
In the age of disclosure, you must understand the politics of heaven. Coming soon.
Coming soon. The politics of heaven in 2027. A treasure hunt through heaven and all human history.